So the Capcom Home Arcade unit, it's something that's truly unique. It's actually, as I'm talking about it, let me just go ahead and bring it up here, as it's a truly unique device. It's, yes, people, this is a giant Capcom logo, but at the same time, it is a very high quality made device, and it's something that I'm seeing that a lot of people are confused about. There's a lot of misinformation that's going around about this, and part of my job as a content creator and a journalist and having journalistic integrity is to quell a lot of the BS that's going around. So, spoiler alert, this is dope. I think if you are a fan of Capcom and if you're someone who enjoys arcade games, for the price of an arcade 1-up, you're going to be spending $200, $250, up to $350 for a arcade machine that's going to give you 2-3 games at most. This is about $200 to $250, and you get 16 games with online connectivity for future updates, and potentially might get more games coming down the road that you can download onto it. I'm not too sure, but possibly it's there. So with that out of the way, I'm Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber, host of the #1 podcast in the state of Hawaii, the Kasanova Podcast. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasionally Saturday. If you want to catch that, here's the infographic with my stream schedule, and I look forward to seeing you guys. So with that being said, I've already spoiled it, but let's go ahead and get into why I think the Capcom Home Arcade unit is something you would love to have in your collection if you're a Capcom fan. That being said, roll the intro. The first thing I want to tackle is the games. The games are Alien vs. Predator, Armored Warriors, Captain Commando, Final Fight, Cyberbots, Darkstalkers, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Mega Man The Power Battle, 1944, The Loot Master, Echo Fighters, Giga Wing, Pro Gear, Capcom Sports Club, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Strider, and Ghouls and Ghosts. You get a nice variety of games, from side-scrolling beat-em-ups to fighting games to shoot-em-ups or shmups to platformers to sports, and finally puzzle. That's honestly something for everyone here with this awesome collection, and most of all is the fact that we get games that have not been re-released on home compilations before in the critically acclaimed Alien vs. Predator and Pro Gear. The game selection interface to me is simple and clean with the Capcom flavor added to it. I've seen many complain that it's plain and or sluggish, but in my opinion, it's perfectly serviceable. Maybe they want it to be like the SNES Classic or Sega Genesis Mini, but this is a device that is comparable to the Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, and in my opinion should only be compared to another device giving you an arcade experience, not a home console experience. You get arcade perfect emulation as if you were in the arcades from the 80s and 90s, which includes any audio distortions or slowdown, which might irk many people, but for me it's exactly how it was back in the day. The biggest selling point for me is the fact that what's exclusive to this product is the fact that it does what no other retro machine does, and that's displayed 1080p 60Hz at 60 frames per second. No other official retro machine achieves this. Many of you may want to know what you can do as far as aspect ratios and filters, and honestly you can choose between original, which is a 4:3, full, or wide. You can also apply a variety of filters such as smooth to these modes. You can also select languages and do button checks. Now let's tackle the build quality, feel, and aesthetics of the Capcom Home Arcade, as it is honestly one of the best devices I have ever felt in my hands and has the perfect balance of weight to it. Now make no mistake about it, this thing is huge, and if you're a tiny person then this may not be ideal for you to have in your lap, but if you have a table to set this on or a desk, then you'll be fine. The Capcom logo looks brilliant and is truly vibrant, and the buttons fully blend in with the logo, which for some may be a bit challenging to remember the button placements and layouts. And honestly, if you're new to using an arcade stick or didn't play those games in the arcade back in the day, then you might have some difficulty. But for me, these feel absolutely perfect, and at no point do I ever find myself trying to look down at my hand placement in order to know what I'm pressing. But for me, admittedly, that's more likely going to be muscle memory. due to growing up in the arcade and regularly using fight sticks. The top of the Capcom Home Arcade has a smooth plastic ceramic-like feel and finish to it that has a nice sheen gloss to it that, like many fight sticks, can be prone to micro scratches and smudges, as well as fingerprint magnets. Although you'd have to look hard to find scratches, but fingerprint magnet, this product most definitely will be. As with any fight stick. The sides of the Capcom Home Arcade are of a rubberized texture that is thick and durable enough to take a few dings and scuffs and feels smooth to the touch. On the bottom of the unit, you have rubber feet to make sure that there's no slippage when placed on a desk or table, although in your lap they may vary. Out of the box, you get both a 2.5mm HDMI and micro USB for video out and power, of which you can easily use a battery backup to power this behemoth. There's also a USB EXT input, of which I'm not certain as to what it does, as it could be for connecting another Capcom Home Arcade for up to 4-player action, or even a USB pass to circumvent having to use the arcade sticks, or it may just be used down the road by hackers who will inevitably hack this Linux-based console. Who knows? I honestly don't know, and that's really none of my concern. There is a built-in Wi-Fi connectivity of which you can easily use to set up, and once done you can connect to high score boards and check your firmware, which mine was shipped with version 1.3 with 1.4 soon to be released as of the recording of this video. Aside from your user manuals and warranty information, you also get a UK power adapter, which since I'm in Hawaii in the US, there's nothing I can do with said item, so I can either use a converter or use one of my endless supply of power bricks, which I'll just grab a power brick. You also get some stickers for both sides of the unit for the coin and start buttons that hover above the 6-button Vuelix layout if you want to give a more authentic arcade feel to the unit. The components used on this product for the stick and buttons on both player 1 and player 2 side are both Sanwa, which for the tech heads out there are effectively competition class Sanwa JLF TP 8YT sticks with an 8-way gate restrictor, and OBSF buttons for the best precision, response times, and durability. These are high quality materials here, and if you aren't used to an octagonal gate and have only used a square gate restrictor, then this might take some getting used to adjust, especially if you're going to play any of the 4 fighting games. However, I would argue that an octagonal gate actually improves the experience of playing fighting games. So how easy is it to set up, you may ask? Well, it's simple. Plug it in, hit the power button, and play. And that's it. Now, if you're playing this one player, then you can rest this on your lap or on a desk or table for preferable comfort. Since I'm a big guy, this sits comfortably on my lap in either the player 1 or player 2 position. However, given that this is, for all intents and purposes, a giant logo with arcade sticks built into it, it does leave some things to be desired, such as a wrist rest, which all arcade sticks or fight sticks traditionally have, so if you happen to have fatigue set in, just know to take a break here and there. As for playing competitively or cooperatively, just know that it's best to have this on a desk or table, as unless you are dating or married to the other player or enjoy being uncomfortably close to another individual, it will be hard to sit side by side and play this. So what are the downsides of this device? Well, aside from the fact that it's not available in the US, my unit was provided by Koch Media, and the fact that for some people it may not have enough games with its 16 games, and for many others the price could be offsetting. However, in the defense of this product, for its price, you get 16 games with 2 never before released in a compilation. And also, if you were to compare this to something like the Arcade 1-Up, then for the same ballpark price or less, you get 13 more games, ability to run it at 1080p, 60 Hz, 60 frames per second, and be able to connect it to Wi-Fi for firmware updates and potentially more games to be added, as well as the portability of taking this to another room or venue with incredible ease. There's also worth mentioning the fact that when you exit a game, there is a rebooting process that sends you through the startup screen showing Koch Media and Capcom's logo, which is a 5 to 10 second start to finish endeavor. But that's not a biggie for me. Since none of those are, in my book, a downside, this to me is a major win. Let's be honest about this product for a minute. It's not for everyone, and it's not trying to be. It's a collector's and enthusiast item, and something that can get the newer generation into games that may possibly be before their time in their perfect arcade forms. It's okay for this to not be for you. All in all, with a supremely well thought out and put together build, high-end components, a strong lineup of games that pioneered generations, and online connectivity for future updates and support. Quite honestly, I say the price is right for the Capcom Home Arcade. And if you're a Capcom enthusiast like me, or someone who grew up in the golden age of arcades, then you need this. Koch Media and Capcom knocked it out of the park with this one, and I simply cannot put this device down long enough, as it keeps pulling me back in over and over. And maybe that's a nostalgic factor, but whatever it may be, it's certainly working and gets the highest form of approval from me. And that just about wraps up the review of the Capcom Home Arcade. Again, I need to give a special shout out to Koch Media and also to Capcom for sending this over to me. As a content creator, anytime I get sent something, and this is just me speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for other content creators, but for me, I am incredibly grateful that I get products sent to me. I mean, it's truly a blessing. I get to live my childhood dream of reviewing video games and tech. And also, as you guys know, I don't review anything that I don't have a vested interest in. So if you're wondering why I'm not covering this or that, then I probably don't have an interest in it. And I just think that keeps it more honest. But this right here, as a Capcom enthusiast, as a fan of every game that's on this product, and as someone who lived through the golden age of arcades from the 80s, 90s, and was around when each and every one of these games came out, this to me is, you need to buy this. But the caveat is if you're a Capcom fan or you're a retro enthusiast. If you're neither one of those, then this probably isn't for you. But the fact that this is around the same price or less than the Arcade 1-Up machines, and you get 13 additional more games than that, and it's portable, I'm just saying, Capcom, Koch Media, you guys truly knocked it out of the park with this. Now, let's get the conversation going down below. If you guys are interested in this, or if you haven't already, or if you just absolutely hate it, or if you're somewhere in between, whichever way you may be or sway, let's get the conversation going down below in the comment section. Let's keep it respectful and friendly, and yeah, let's just be civil and talk about it. If it's not for you, as I said in my review, this isn't gonna be for everyone. And if it's not for you, it's okay for it not being for you. People need to be able to be okay with something not being for them. And with that being said, I'm Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber, host of the #1 podcast in the state of Hawaii, Kasanova Podcast. With that being said, deuces wow, too sweet, be the elite. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Congratulations, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, why don't you make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with someone you think would enjoy it. You can catch me on all social media platforms from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and more. And if you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel, there's Patreon as well as channel memberships. Links for everything are down in the description below. And with that being said, this is Mekel Kasanova signing out. I enjoy you guys. You guys have a wonderful day. Aloha and mahalo.